Oh, I'm gonna miss that voice. Okay, let's get this screen sharing going on. Boom. All right. Welcome to the Westmarch BoD December 2023 meeting. Our wonderful secretary, Chicken, has mentioned that they expect to be here, but at this very second, they are not.
I'm here. I'm here.
Us! Quiet out there.
Scoot pulled me in.
You're welcome.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Well done. Well, would you like to do your job and do the call to order and the roll call, friend?
Yes,
In Vale's finest.
of course. Let's see. Andy Brown.
Present.
Alrighty. And then we have Brian.
Present.
Correct. Paul.
Paul is not here.
Paul's not here. Okay.
Judging by his Facebook post, Paul is probably sick.
Understood. Okay. And then Rose.
Present.
Got it. And then the people that we have in here today, do we have? Okay. And then today we have James Anderson.
Yes.
Benjamin Smith.
Present.
And then we have, I always forget, hold on one second. Frankie Demento. I know they are there, right there. I see them. And then Ethan.
Present.
And then what is for V? Was it V Fraser?
That's me, Victoria.
I believe
Victoria.
that's
Got it. Victoria's here.
Kathleen.
Victoria Kathleen, thank you very much.
Victoria, is it Fraser or Kathleen is your last name? I genuinely don't know.
Oh, Fraser's my last name. I just used Kathleen on Facebook.
You're the best.
Understood. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.
Roll call is completed. We will now go to reading of minutes of the last meeting. Secretary, would you like to take over? Would you like me to do the reading of the minutes?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Okay. Well, we had lots of wonderful people, as you can see here, that attended the November 2023 meeting. We approved the October minutes. We welcomed the new monarchy, and Tirza asked if we get credits. Thank you very much for that. We went over an audit update and talked about Westmarch payment request forms, our card servicing. We went over proper ledger methodologies and better record keeping plans. I will say that this conversation probably went on for 45 minutes, and you can find it on YouTube's. I'd like to call out again that the Kratz for Feast of the Gods did a heck of a job and deserve every commendations. I'll give them all the awards. We are going to do pod pricing to find out how much pods cost because our monarch suggested we should consider a pod. Victoria was smart enough to talk about event audit packets. Thank goodness that they brought that up. We talked about transferring savings and funds and accounts, and that was resolved. We appreciate that. We worked on getting a bilingual flyer. There might be an update to that. We talked about BoD nominations, and again, Ethan read all the Caporas, which is almost as good as reading War and Peace. Westmarch safety statement, we went over that. Digital PO box update, we definitely went over that. We talked about ledger requests for a while, came to a good consensus there. And we talked about some things that are added to the January all thing. And Andy mentioned an interest in talking about Google Suite. And then we scheduled the meeting. Does anybody have any questions about the November minutes? I see no's, so I'm closing it out. Is everybody okay with approving the reading of the last minutes?
I move to approve the meeting minutes as read.
Any second?
Second it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. I will say that our December agenda is light. It's quite light. And I would like everybody to feel free to speak up at any point in time and use this meeting as a time to say what they're grateful for this year, any thanks or commendations that they'd like to shout out, please do that at any point in time. We can do it in the middle. We can save it for the end. We can do it at the beginning. I don't care. Open floor, speak up however you want. Although if you don't have a fancy wig, I may ignore you. Okay. December agenda. We potentially talked about getting pricing for pods for the storage shed. It hasn't even been a month yet. We may have not gotten to this. Does anybody have any updates on the pricing for pods?
So for pods, the pricing that I got back was basically anytime, and they were kind of weird about this when I like everything is automated. I tried to get a real person and really never got anybody to get back to me from pods themselves, and a few other companies just didn't service that area. So to deliver a pod to the location is a $385 charge,
Oof.
and the monthly storage is 379, 380. And
What?
that's before taxes. And that was for a 10 by 10, I believe. Hang on. No, not 10. Why does it not show the size that I was looking at when I got that quote?
Heard that before.
Yep. I believe it's for a 10 by 10.
Even if it is for a 10 by 10,
That's a lot.
that's so much money. Yes. Thank you
It
very
was.
much for speaking up, James. That's ridiculous. I would rather buy a trailer for $2,000 and just have it, and then have somebody be able to back up their truck and drive it to King City.
I would tend to agree. I tried to look for trailer storage pricing in that area, and nobody really had an open quote that they would give online, and nobody got back to. I was only looking for it this past Sunday, so I haven't gotten any results.
We can go
on my
back
inquiry.
to our February or March minutes, and Paul had gotten us quotes about how much it would cost to store, and I believe that it was about $50
That's pretty
for
good.
a monthly storage fee. And let me look that up, see if I can find that really quick.
I was going to say I did a bit of research. U-Haul does something kind of similar to Pod called a U-Box. And they say it's 120 a month. The interesting part about it, and I'm trying to pull it back up again when I looked at it, was there was like a $100 or $150 delivery fee to get it to your house. But if you were able to drop it off at a U-Haul location, they said they would move it to another U-Haul location for free. As long as you're willing to transport it to and from that location. So
Does it need a flatbed or does it have wheels?
it does not have wheels, so you need like a trailer or something.
Just get like 8 strong barbarians. I'm sure we can lift it on the back of a truck.
Yeah, it does look like it comes on a pallet, so if you got a forklift or something like that, you can do that. But
there is a specific fighting company that is out of Sacramento, out of Thor's Refuge, that actually is all about lifting cars. That's literally why they exist. So there you go. I'm looking through our notes from different months, and I'm trying to find the notes about the trailer. There it is. Let's see. Nope, not in the notes. I checked March, February, and April. I'm not going to keep looking. But we'll get to the bottom of that. Is there anybody here has a strong opinion either way about U-Haul or pods or having a trailer? Is there anybody that's like, this is what we should do and feels very strongly about it? Because most people I've talked to over the entire year has been very ambivalent.
Ethan, when you looked at that U-Haul pricing, was that for that area, or was
yes,
it
it's
your
for
local
it's for
area?
the Bay Area. I did it for my house in the Bay Area.
Because King City is somewhat in the sticks.
Yeah, I did it as if I was doing like a local move, and basically they say it was $120. You get it for a month. If you deliver it to U-Haul, they'll move it to another U-Haul for free. If they have to pick it up, it's like $100.
Got it.
Yeah. Or if you were willing to access it at a U-Haul location, so in theory you could move it from U-Haul to U-Haul, and then just like drive over there and grab the stuff you need and like deliver the stuff you want. Yeah, I think they're a bit smaller than pods. They're kind of like trailer sized, but
Right. But I mean, how much stuff do we really have?
for the Feast of Mars, we have a lot.
Yeah, but would we be exceeding a trailer?
Let me. I can measure this out here. I know about how much room it took when I had it. So it's about 3 foot by 7 foot by 2 foot is the bulk of the tubs. As long as the trailer's 3 feet wide, that it certainly is. And then there's some extra. Yes, it would all fit in a U-Haul trailer because it all fit in my car at one point.
A 12 by 6 enclosed trailer with a side door on a single axle is $4,000. So hypothetically, we could potentially try and find a used one, and we could store
Are
everything.
we? Is
Yeah,
the
we have
plan
to-
to also store the castle? Because I think we were trying to make it so Zeus didn't have to carry it around anymore, right?
I
We
believe that was
have
part of the
stored
plan.
it in
Yes.
multiple houses, unfortunately.
Yeah, and there would be like $100 to $200 annual maintenance on that for tags and stuff on a trailer.
Tags are
No,
permanent in
there are no
California.
tags.
Oh,
There
really?
are no tags for a trailer. I own a 14 by 7 trailer, and my maintenance has been 0 for a decade. Except, well, I bought a new set of tires about 4 years ago,
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, in California, trailer tags are one-time purchase.
Okay.
which is awesome.
It is.
They should do that with cars.
But then how would they pay for things?
But what about corruption, Rose? Think of the rich people.
So, I like the idea. I am not a super motivated one on this idea, though. Also, at that high of a thing, it probably should be something that we ask the populace.
It would definitely go to an all thing. The BoD would not be able to make this decision, and this would be well beyond monarchy discretion spending.
What I think a better, like, not that we're the group moving forward, but the best thing to move forward would be get an accurate measure of all the things we have to store. Like if we were wanting to store the castle as well, that would be something to think about when we're looking at either a storage place or a trailer.
Yeah,
'Cause-
when we're sizing it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
And room for additional growth. We would not want to buy something that just held exactly what we have. We would potentially like to assume that we'd be able to store more stuff.
Nope, no growth. Either you get rid of something if you want to add it, or you leave it.
Okay.
time
First
to
in, first
chop
out.
Talon's arm off. Got it.
No growth. Only segregation. Talon. There we go.
I moved to strike that from the minutes.
Fine. Okay. Does anybody else have anything we'd like to discuss about storage? I guess I have one question. I apologize. James, we are storing stuff at Azusa's house and at your house and at Raven's house. Is that correct?
There's nothing currently at my house, but I did store it for a while, which is why I was able to visualize how much space.
I think right now it's being stored at Bacchus's house.
Yes,
Okay. Does Azus still have, I believe, the castle?
I believe so.
Okay, so Azus and Bacchus's house. We would like to eventually get everything all into one. And I suppose it's fair to say that Dragonvale should probably consider exploring getting their own storage one day. To help.
Having been to Bacchus' house, I can tell you it's not at his house, it's at his storage, which means he's already paying for storage for it.
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear whoever said that.
So having been to Bacchus' house, I can tell you it's not at his house, it's at his storage, which means he's already paying some storage fees for it.
Got it.
As for Dragonville, I think we need to have a source of income before we start having yearly expenditures.
That's true. That's fair. Okay. All right. Do we have any updates or conversations about that we'd like to have about event audit packets? While out is not a West March event, it is still a big event that lots of people from West March are planning on attending. After that, we of course have Shark Door, which is arguably the largest event, although I believe Feast of the Gods may have outpulled it this year. Do we have any ideas for what an event audit packet should include? What would we like to see as the leaders of West March here about what we should expect before and after an event for data collection purposes?
All check-ins,
Breakdown
all
of
receipts, and all invoices.
also a breakdown of the different types of tickets that were sold, how many people purchased those tickets, and what type of payment they used.
Alan, can you speak up? I didn't hear what you said, unfortunately.
So total list of check-ins and all receipts and all invoices.
Can you repeat the thing about check-in?
Just that they should be reported, and then we have an accurate number of how many came in. But yeah, I think what she said about which kinds of tickets is quite relevant.
All right, I appreciate that. For the people here that are currently serving and the people that will be serving in the future, I think it's very important that we get some type of agreement with any autocrat moving forward, or steward, or whatever you want to call it, that this is the type of information we should get. The people that are in this meeting are the people that genuinely serve in leadership positions, with the other people who are currently unavailable but are typically here. Let's make sure that we kind of make a little pact between ourselves that this is the type of data we should have. The bold statements of we should know how many people purchase tickets, I think that's a fair thing to request moving forward and not a difficult ask. Cool.
Assuming we can get a better
So you had mentioned just
payment servicing system. Also on that, possibly something with regarding to Monterey Parks. Although that's not largely in our hands.
What about
No.
Monterey Parks?
If we can get, during the bid process, if we can get cost up and running at that time.
Yeah, that would help. We need to, I think, I will put this out there right now. I am perfectly fine contacting Monterey Parks, requesting an actual meeting with the brass, and I will fly there and show up. And I bet you we can get a lot of other people to do the same thing and actually sit down and have a real meeting with them and hash this stuff out. We should have January 1 some type of agreement for Dark Shore and Feast of the Gods, because we can pay for it up front and get this taken care of without having to stress for last minute stuff.
Yeah, the biggest problem is we move the weekends a little bit. Like we choose the month, right? Pretty ahead of time, but like we still haven't even finalized the weekend for Dark Shore.
Sure, that's fair. I'd love to move it off Memorial Day weekend. I'll tell you that.
We try and keep it off Memorial Day.
Yeah, this year they're aiming for the second weekend in that month.
Love it. Well, let's contact, who's the crat for Dark Shore? Do we have that yet?
Atlantis.
Okay, cool. Zelle and PayPal is something that we have access to as a kingdom. Through our Wells Fargo account, we have a Zelle account that goes directly into the Wells Fargo funds. And then we have a PayPal that goes directly into the Wells Fargo fund, directly into the PayPal funds. There's no reason to use anything, in my opinion. I don't make any decisions. I'm nobody. But those are two easy ways to make payments. that people have or can get quite easily to make payments there. Otherwise, they can pay cash or check.
We should also work with the IT committee because I know Zeus was saying that he believes the CA Amcard page can actually accept payments
Yes.
through it, and we can run event pages through that. So we should. I'm not sure it's a BoD thing or a Monarchy thing to go reach out to the IT team and see what that would take to set up.
It'd
That would
probably
be
be a weird mix.
crap thing to go to the IT committee as per the last holding. I interrupted somebody. Please, somebody speak up.
Actually, what I was saying was it would probably be a weird mix of Monarchy and BoD to figure out, different parts of it, but that's true of many things. So, hi,
Love
Ito.
it.
And regarding the Once Upon a Time, the money and auditing for that, perhaps the Dragonvale Monarchy could be involved in that, and that could be an event that they take on because you mentioned they don't have any money incoming. So if they could make that one of their official events.
It would be up to the event runners and Dragonvale. Currently, that event is 100% funded outside of AmpGuard. People personally fund it. So I don't particularly think that people who do all the work fund the event themselves. I don't see as Westmarch as really having any, well, they might want to change it. Like they might in the future when Dragonvale is more capable of helping with funding, want to pass some of that. But I don't feel like we have any right to tell them how to spend their money when it's coming out of their bank account and they're not using any even park funds. It's just 100% the people's personal money themselves that they took out of their bank.
It would still fall under events in Westmarch. It would not be Westmarch events.
It's not a Westmarch event because they never go through any of the Westmarch audit process or bid process at all. It's just an AmpGuard event run by an independent organization.
That's what a event in Westmarch is, as opposed to a Westmarch event. Just like a land that runs an event.
I don't feel like we usually audit land events either.
Events hosted by the kingdom are considered to be held by the kingdom for the purposes of officer jurisdiction and attendance. That is events hosted by the kingdom. That's according to
Which this is not.
This is not. It does not take place in any park's normal area. It doesn't use any park or kingdom funds. Basically the only thing that Westmarch has is we sign people in on the org on that, but
the Monarch.
Okay, I assumed at least some funds were going back and forth, but never mind.
Nope.
No,
that's been very important to be separate. Sorry, please speak up, Rose. I apologize.
Sorry. No, there was a thing somebody put up, notably not anyone associated with the event, but somebody else as a nice gesture put up an all thing to give the money, but there was political drama down south. And so the event decided instead of risking in some way creating altercation or unhappiness, they would just fund themselves and not take any park or kingdom money.
I'm going to put down here events in Westmarch. This is out of the Kapora 7.3. Events in Westmarch are not subject to approval. When an event is requesting funds from Westmarch, that's different. Events in Westmarch should be scheduled as not to conflict with Westmarch events. So at this moment, out is out of bounds. I'm clever.
Which I do think, once Dragonvale has a source of income and, is able to actually contribute, they may want to move it under Dragonvale just so that, they're not having to pay for it. But that'll be a future thing.
Hey, Brian, real quick, sorry, where did you get that Corpora?
Where did I get the Corpora?
Yeah.
The CA AmpGuard website.
That is definitely not the version that's currently on the website.
The
I'm
one
gonna
on
pull this
CA
over
AmCard is
here.
the April version. There's an October version that was published to the Facebook page, but unfortunately has not yet been pushed to the CA AmCard page.
All right, wait,
I'm
hang
going
on a
to.
sec.
I'm
Yeah.
sharing the screen right now. This is directly on CA AmCard.
Can you copy that link into the chat?
Yeah, of course.
It's on CA AmCard. It's just not.
Oh, wait, what?
It's not the
That is
item
not
that's
what is shown
listed.
on the documents page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
I
you.
am going to pull this right here, and I'm going to go down to where is the rules of play? This is October. No, where's the Kapora?
One more row down.
There it
Yeah.
is.
Right there, it says
April.
updated April 2023.
Oh
And then the
goodness.
document itself says that as well.
Well, wait a second. Okay, this was updated. I don't know how this got.
Yeah,
Reverted?
I thought it was too.
I thought it was.
I'm a
as
little
well.
confused.
I'm gonna message Azus right now and just let him know. This week, David is so good at updating CAM card.
I wonder if we
This
rolled
week,
back
thanks.
in an update or something.
We should give him a committee or something to.
No, he has to do it himself, all by himself, lonesome.
That's what Fix did for like a decade.
Yep. I'm gonna screenshot this to Azus right now. Sorry for the delay. And good eye, by the way, guys. Really good eye. Currently.
No, don't feed his rule slurring. Don't feed it.
Wow, I'm so valued.
Okay. Well, whoever said it, thank you so much. I really appreciate you catching that. Okay. So that was great information. This right here is very important because if we want to be more streamlined, if we want to have more successful events, data tracking and data manipulation is very important. And I think we're all on the same page here. And as long as the Talons and the Sebastians and the Thistledowns and the Andes don't get burnt out, which I'm afraid they're going to do, we're going to have something that's really good moving forward. Okay, as you probably saw on the CAM card page, we have the bilingual flyer completed, and we have an updated flyer. I might as well show that page again. I don't know why I closed it. Why do I keep closing it?
For the bilingual, that's a second link, right? Not the main flyer link? Or
Yes,
is it
okay.
something you select?
We have the West March waiver right here, and then we have the West March waiver in Spanish right here. On the AMP Wiki, the West March BoD page, we have the confirmation of the legality and effectiveness of the Spanish waiver. So that is posted. It's supposed to be posted here too, but I don't know.
I just mean like, if I'm using the links to give people the waiver when they want to look for it, I need to have two links, or does the link pull up a selection option?
Oh, and Milan, while you were on there on CAM card, I think it definitely got waved back because that looks like the previous rules of play too. Because I think the current one is saucy, and that one was showing spicy or sunny.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
absolutely
you're right.
Looks like
There's
there's
definitely a rollback.
It's actually a dead link if you click through it.
Well, let's go ahead and click over it real quick. Yeah, it's not even there. It looks like there was an unfortunate rollback, possibly when Azus added these two waivers. Sorry about that, guys. For our smart waiver, this is what many people have on the link tree, is the smart waiver. This smart waiver that we are looking at right now, which if you don't have the link, let me know. It is on the AMP Wiki page, but I'll make it more prevalent.
Well, and can we get Azus to actually add that to the documents page?
Yeah, I will actually. Yes, I will.
Not that page.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of where the link is. Okay. I'm gonna close that. Sorry. Create edit waivers. Here we go. Copy waiver link. Hey, how about that? All right, I'm going to drop the waiver link into the chat so you all can take it and post it wherever the heck you want. And I'm going to say, can you put the smart waiver link on CA AmpGuard as well? Boom. Congratulations, David. All the work for you.
Okay, so it is just one link for both the Spanish and the English then, and they just like select English or Spanish, or is it 2 links?
On this right here, there is a West March waiver PDF. This is the English one, and this is the updates from the November meeting. And then right here is the Spanish one.
But this isn't what we should be giving people anyways, because we should be using Smart Waiver, yes?
That is correct. I can take this PDF and I can put it into Smart Waiver. I have not done that yet, so I'm going to pull up the notes right now and say add this to Smart Waiver. And I will get that done this weekend. And I apologize that I have not completed that. Thank you for bringing that up, Andy. I just got the PDF and I was like, that's good. Sorry about that. This is the certificate of translation accuracy for the Spanish waiver. This is posted on the West March BoD page. And should we put this on the CA AmpGuard site too? Probably. Anybody?
It doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah, I'll congratulations, David, more for you.
Uh,
All right, so
Wow, he's got a whole committee's worth of work.
yeah, can you also add this to the website? Thank you. He's gonna love me. Okay. So
there's still an issue I have a bit with the smart waiver, which is if somebody walks up and says, "Oh, I filled in the smart waiver," there's no way for a land PM to see these, is there?
Yes. What we can do is we can go to staff users and we can add people here. So I can add staff users to be able to
I mean, we're going to add 19 land PMs and rotate them every 6 months.
you can also tell the people to do a screenshot of the completed waiver thing.
There is a way to log in. Yeah, here it is. This right here, with one password, you can log in. But maybe what we need to do is for staff users, create land PM at Gmail, and then give them access and have everybody be able to access it using that login here.
Even if it was just pushed to like a Google Doc that we could pull up and be like, here's the people who have signed in through the smart waiver, at least then we could like check, like, yes, they filled it out. You know, because what I don't need is like a 17-year-old walking up to the park, right, and being like, oh yeah, I filled it out, my parents signed it, you know, at home, and it's all done, and then I get there and it's like, I have no idea how to verify that.
They will get an email copy of their smart waiver,
which you can make them show you.
Does it specify whether or not they provided the ID on there, or whether they're being expected to show one?
There is a conversation that is currently being had with the monarch on whether or not we should retain asking for the identification on the waiver. That may change very soon.
Okay.
For years, the physical waiver has just said that the ID was visually verified.
Yes, as we can see here with the with the Spanish version. We'll pull up the English version right here, and we'll go.
Yeah,
right
with
here.
the record of what their ID number was.
Nope.
So
nope,
the old
you were not supposed to do the ID number. You were only supposed to do the expiration date for some reason.
Because because the ID number is PII.
Well, I mean, I understand the ID number not being done because, yeah, that was a bad idea to have in the first place. But the expiration date is kind of a weird thing to me.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. That was one thing I noticed about this most recent update is we took out that and added back the ID number, which we removed years ago.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yay, more work needs to be done.
Explain the rollback.
Honestly, I don't know why it's not just a checkbox that, you know, we check their ID if all we're doing it for is their date of birth, which is all we're supposed to be doing it for, making sure that they are 18. we don't really need any of the ID information. We just need a checkbox that, yep, I checked it.
That's why there's an accepted by and an entered by, because the accepted by is, you have like a demo or something like that going on, right? And people are rolling up, and they roll up, they show you an ID and be like, yep, they're over 18. I verified it. Move along. Just like, yes, they're over 18. Like those last 3 lines. That's why I was a little surprised when ID number showed up again.
Well, even expire can be a weird one. It's like,
well,
for people who
most
don't
people don't
have
even record the
it.
date. They just record, yes, it's over 18.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have, well, let's start here with the conversation. Do we want the ID to be listed on the waiver? Because it's very easy to remove it. It's very easy to edit it. Any
don't really.
I think it opens us up to liability.
I assumed that part of the reason we were making sure to look at the ID fully was to make sure that the name that they put down matches their legal name, so that if for whatever reason we had to say run a background check on them, that we knew we had accurate information to do that with.
Yeah, we never run background checks.
Assumption.
But
Yeah,
the only
we never
the only
run
reason you would
background
verify
checks.
the name is to make sure that they aren't like borrowing their friend's ID.
And the fact that it makes people assume that we are doing it in order to be able to run a background check gives us liability, because it makes people assume that that is a thing we do, whereas it is not a thing we do.
Yeah, I was more that like it was a thing that like we could check if there was an issue. We like, okay, we have a real name, we can run it through Megan's Law or whatever.
Yeah, we don't even ever check. That's why it's a statement where they go in and say they're declaring that they don't have any like outstanding warrants or issues or anything like that. And we had it very specifically worded that way, of a self-declaration.
Which, having them have a lower assumption of things we do actually gives us a protection, because then if we do not do it, they never had the assumption that we do it. But doing stuff that gives them a reasonable assumption that we do something can make it so that not doing it when they reasonably assumed we did, like, can come back to bite us.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like what this waiver actually says, is most of it saying, I'll follow the rules. I'm not going to break the rules. I consent to having my photo taken at AMCART events. It's like, it's all protecting us from like somebody coming back and saying, I didn't, I got hit in the head, or, I didn't like my photo was posted online or something like that. Like, well, you signed all that away.
Is
Which,
there
when I take business law, that is the specific point of a waiver. It doesn't actually prevent people from suing. It doesn't, in some way vet other people, but it's something you can give the judge when you're being sued to say, hey, I said this might happen. They signed and said, yeah, cool, I know it can happen.
Is there a drawback to not checking identifications that anybody can think of at this very moment?
Well, there's a difference between checking identification and recording identification.
The drawback to not checking IDs would only come if a court of law decided at some point that it was our duty to do so and we failed.
Which we play at a public park where anyone who comes to the park can play. We have it's like extremely unlikely any judge would be like, yeah, it's a public park where you're in full public view, but you should have been checking IDs.
There are other situations I can definitely think of it. The problem always comes when you get like the 17-year-old who says, yeah, I'm 18, or the 19-year-old who says, yeah, I'm 21, and they get a green band at an event.
That's where we need to check identification.
Well, that's not a waiver thing. That's a very different thing.
But we don't need to record it.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, would we ever need to check it? Right now, we just do it as part of the waiver, like that everybody signs at the event as part of the ID check.
So
I am fully supportive of events having a much higher criteria, because they are not within full view of the public, and it's not just random people who come to the park who come.
I also think any larger lands that run kid-only events need to have one or more background checked persons that are doing that.
Wait, kid-only events? How do you define that?
So in various lands at various different times there has been battle games for children. Um, for the various reasons that it's funner when they're all 12. It's easier to run than trying to have them in an adult game. People are interested in doing that, but when you do kid only things, the barrier for what's reasonable becomes much higher. So
yeah, but anybody under 14 is supposed to be escorted by a guardian.
And I believe specifically in California, especially because some of the work I do with my church, there is now a requirement that basically everybody has to be background checked for stuff like that.
yeah, I would, if any lands ever run kid quests, I would have at least the main organizer be background checked.
Who pays for that background check?
I don't see when we would ever do a background check.
I'm thinking like
Which
my
is why
park
I
for a
would
while was a
caution
bunch of
against any kid quest.
yeah, like for a while my park was like very, it was like 70% teenagers, a bunch of high school students and like their parents. And so if their parents wanted to run something, I don't know how as a monarch I would be able to do anything about that. Or like would I be expected to background check the parents?
At the minimum, you can check their ID and check the sex offender registry.
I mean, are we expecting that for all of our shires now?
No, we are definitely not going to do that.
Yeah.
No, but
also
I think
as
the
long
question
as
is whether or not, well, I think what Ital's trying to say, if you have someone, a very specific person who is running an event with all minors, and they're only being supervised by that one individual person, that person probably should have some kind of verification that they've been background checked or they're qualified for one way or another, versus if you're at a park with parents and other players and they're just running a game off to the side, that's a little different than going to a specific event with a time frame that there's the expectation that this is a kids only thing. But I think that from what it sounds like, I think we all can agree that checking ID, just visually checking ID, is probably the safe bet even at the park level, just to verify that the person who is claiming that they just had their waiver signed or whatever is an adult and capable of signing that waiver. Otherwise, you potentially have a 16-year-old saying that they're 18, and if they get hurt, we're SOL.
Back to the one person running a kid event, that would actually be against the AMCARD youth policy. We need at least 2 people for any such events.
I believe the
Sure,
policy
that was
just
just
says 2 people. Well, hold on. I believe the MCARD youth policy actually just says 2 people. It doesn't define their age. I believe unless they've updated it, because the original example that they gave was you could have 2 16-year-olds and a 23-year-old adult, and that was fine because there were 3 people there.
I mean, if your park
recommend
has
going
enough
just 'cause, like,
people to be doing that, I honestly don't know why some of the more competent kids couldn't be in charge of running it.
Yeah.
Like, if you have that many kids that are coming out, then like give some of them the responsibility of being the person running it. It's not like they're having to handle cash or other stuff. They're just running a game.
I think you still come down to the issue if you have unsupervised.
Book.
Effectively, you'd still be having an unsupervised child running other children, which could potentially become a problem. I think.
Remember, sorry, I was just going to jump in. Remember, we require anybody under 14 is escorted by a guardian. So this could only happen with people between the ages of 14 and 18.
Which is a very important age for us to always monitor no matter what.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think we should ever ask 2 16-year-olds to monitor children. I think that's a giant red flag, unfortunately. And I hate to say that, but no matter how responsible a 17-year-old is, they're not qualified to watch children, in my opinion, while servicing in a leadership position for AMCARD.
No, but we're talking about running a 14 to 17-year-old game. A 17-year-old should be able to run a game.
Isn't that at a park, though, where everybody else is?
I mean, when are we having kids only things away from park?
Well, then I don't think I don't think it would matter because the monarch or the prime minister or the champion on duty would be over the age of 18, and so that would be an irrelevant point, in my opinion. Welcome, Monarch Scorch. Thank you for being here.
Howdy, howdy.
I agree with Milan on this because you would already have the officers there, and all of the officers are required to be 18. And, you know, unless it's an heir apparent, but like, you already have, you know, an adult there over the age who.
And that would be, to me, like how in Boy Scouts you've got your patrol leaders and I mean even your junior assistant scoutmasters. They'll be running events, but there are still always your 2D leadership. You'll have the two adults still as the, you know, the real ones in charge, even if the kids are running how the event goes. They are not the adult supervision at the event.
Correct.
Are we talking about the bit, or are we talking about children learning how to crat things?
We are talking about on the West March waivers, checking identifications, whether we should record IDs or we should simply just say that we checked IDs. And then do we need to do background checks for adults that are monitoring kids? Like, where do we go with identifications is basically where we are at.
Is there a way to run the smart waiver system through a database that checks for people on a sex offender registry?
No.
Sure, if we want to spend a lot of money.
Smart Waiver actually told us that was not something they are capable of doing or would be allowed to do. It would be that I talked to customer support about that. That was something that St. Kaya brought up, and it was like, no, that's a breach of privacy we can't legally do.
How is it a breach of privacy if it's public record?
I don't think Smart Waiver wanted to be involved. I think that's what it was.
Smart Waiver is not public record. We would be using names that are not public record to check a public record.
Isn't that what you do anyway if you like suspect something weird?
You can individually say, hey, this person who I know seems weird, so I'm going to Google them, but you don't go on a database of names and have full capability of doing it for anyone you want.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that website just didn't want the possible liability.
I mean,
yeah, no, I can see that.
Employee, yeah. I'm not even able to do that for things that are public record because it's considered legally iffy.
Well, and especially because you're going to get a lot of names. You know, if you have a John Smith show up to the park and you Google John Smith and you find out like there's 47 serial murderers named John Smith, like how do you know it's yours?
Yeah, that's fair.
They did say, there's Megan at Smart Waiver did say that while we don't have a tool or integration that can run a background check on a participant, we offer an open API if your web developer wants to build an integration with that service. So it was a willing choice from them to not do it.
Yeah, they don't want the liability, but they are welcoming us to take on the liability and do it our way.
Take care, Talon. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry for interrupting.
Could we put like a note to the side to start this up in this particular discussion up in January? Because I'm seeing a lot of benefits to, you know, protecting our sport and our kids, you know.
What specifically do you want to add?
The Smart Waiver had mentioned the ability to integrate the participants in Smart Waiver and a registry of any of that sort. So I would like to talk to our lawyers and talk to anybody that is familiar with that sort of technical know-how to see if this is something that we can do and something that we should do for liability reasons. Because honestly, there's liability on both ends. One is right to privacy, and the other is by them signing the waiver, they're saying, "Oh, I'm not on a registry of any kind."
Yep.
So if they're violating that, we actually have the right by the waiver that they signed that we can just auto ban them.
Yep. There we go. It's added. That will be on the January all thing. Excuse me, the January board of director itinerary.
Phenomenal.
All right, so I have a very important thing that needs to be brought up. Andy, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I asked our wonderful monarch if they would make Sean Brown, Scootling, heir apparent of West March for 1 hour.
Phenomenal.
They said yes. The Kapora clearly says that the heir apparent is for members under the age of 18. The heir apparent shall assist the monarchy and may bestow orders with the permission of the monarch. So, can the heir apparent bestow orders with approval of the monarch? Yes. Andy, can Sean Brown make their proposal?
I request to the meeting.
Seconded, little man.
I heard that the heir apparent has permission to make the motion to end the meeting so long as 2 elected members sitting on the board of directors second and third motion. The heir apparent has made an important statement. We can, if approved, accept what the heir apparent has asked, which
Can
is...
I request that we check the validity of the election that elected the heir apparent?
That was an appointment.
Doesn't matter. It requires an election, and if it's held outside of an election, it requires a pro tem, which requires an Alding, which requires a quorum.
So here's the thing. It's spelled differently, so it's not the heir apparent that you see in the corpora.
Oh.
There's like a couple of H's and umlaut somewhere in there.
So they have no powers.
This is a totally made up position that I have declared he may motion to end the meeting, so long as 2 elected members sitting on the BoD, i.e. people that actually have the power to make the motion to end the meeting, concur. Therefore, continue. Just go with the bit, man. Have some joy. God fucking damn it, it's Christmas.
Sebastian, you're fighting this on the wrong premise anyways. The problem isn't that it was a questionable election. The problem is this particular individual is 4, not 14.
Oh, okay. I've never met them, so...
You couldn't hear from the babbling that was clearly not a child over the age of 10?
Hey, I've met some weird 14-year-olds, okay?
So, do we have a second to end the meeting right now?
Like 3 times.
I do want to at least get through the other items that are listed on the thing here.
Okay.
I'll just speak through them here. BoD elections. The ballots went up today, along with a few other options. Corpora things, the poll on the 501c also is on there, and the 2 things regarding pro tem are on there.
I would like to make a brief statement about that, James, if that's okay.
Okay.
On the January all thing, we have 2 things that are primarily survey oriented. We have had people, including myself, request seeking 501c3 status, as many other Amtgard kingdoms have done for West March. We have also received conversation from active members of West March that have clearly stated they have no desire in seeking a 501c3 status and prefer the 501c7. So it's best to bring it up to a populist vote. And if it comes back in a majority that we should seek it, then that's something that should continue to happen. That's the first thing. And I wanted to verbosely drop that out there because it's important to recognize everyone's voice.
Through that, Milan, would you please go to the ballot that I posted and lay out your argument for it?
Dun, dun, dun. Make me do work. Why do you?
After the meeting.
Oh, you don't want me to do it right now?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
I do.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we might as well show the all thing anyways. We have multiple people running for BoD, which is incredible. Thank you very much for that. Proposal 2 is the 501c7, and then proposal 3, the pro tem officer requirements. Should West March remove the qualifications for officers to serve in pro tem positions at the park level, which is making them dues paid and voting eligible and passing the Corpora test, that sort of thing. Proposal 4 deals with proposal 3. Anyways.
Not necessarily.
That's true. That's true. Well, it's mildly relevant. Should West March bar orders of the Crown from being granted to pro tem officers? Should West March remove the qualification requirements for officers that serve in a pro tem position at the park level? The park level was specified because we do not want to encourage West March level officers serving in a pro tem position.
Well, and in addition, if it was like, for some reason, the monarch had to step down, the regent technically takes over as pro tem monarch.
That's true.
But they've already fulfilled the requirements to be regent, which is the same requirements to be monarch. Therefore, they're qualified.
Still treats them as pro tem.
The Corpora is horrible, and we're fixing it.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying.
I don't really see any problem with pro tem unless item 4 gets passed, which I think is a little silly. Hey, you agreed to step in afterwards and do a lot more work. You can't get any awards for that. But
in the nightmare scenario where 3 doesn't pass but 4 does, that is absolutely correct. And at that point,
I mean, even if 3 does pass and 4 passes, you know, why do people become pro tem? Because nobody else wanted the job. So because nobody else wanted the job, even if you do a really good job, and even if you're elected like literally a week after the rest of the officers, you can't get orders of the Crown because you have the word pro tem in front of your name.
I will admit I am also opposed to this measure, but I saw it listed on the list of things to put up.
There we go. I am one person, and this was not added to the all thing, but I would take, this is me, I would take away the pro tem position, and if somebody doesn't qualify, leave the position blank or unhoused. So that's
that would
my
cause
opinion.
A lot of problems at a land level.
Yeah, that's a horror show.
That would cause a lot of problems at a land level. Like if a land doesn't have a monarch or doesn't have a PM, you know, we would not be able to do anything. Like, credits couldn't be entered.
Yeah, that's exactly what as Evil Randy would say, and we all know his quote, so I won't say it out loud. But yeah, if somebody's not willing to do the work, then it shouldn't get done. That's my personal opinion. It's not on here because I know that's unpopular. I'm just speaking it. Okay.
So, also on the agenda, I would like to jump ahead a bit because I have the page up now. Digital PO box. It is still empty. No one has tried sending anything, I don't think.
Oh my God. I'll mail something tomorrow.
Okay.
Does the digital PO box need to be accessible by the monarch or just the PM?
It is accessible. You can find it under the accounts and passwords sheet that we have shared among us.
Understood. Carry on.
You know, it's funny. I was actually at that physical location today. I didn't look and see if there's any way to look at the PO box, but I was there.
James, I know your time is short. You have the floor.
All right. I don't think there's anything else on the agenda that I need to adjust. I know there's a thing. Ethan has reviewed all the corporas. That's awesome. I look forward to seeing what he and Talon come up with as our new corpora.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. This is stamped. Where the hell? There we are. This is going to be stamped and mailed to PO Box. It will be in the post office tonight. Okay. Invest in Google Suite. That's something, Andy, did you look into? It's okay if you did not, of course.
Sort of. So I didn't look at Google Suite. Actually, I looked at Microsoft 365, which is their competitive, like they both have similar programs. If we were a 501c3, we'd get, I think it was like 10 accounts for free.
Oh my God.
And any further accounts would be like $3 a month.
You wouldn't need more than 10.
Well, like part of my concept that I'd come up with here is it would be useful to have at least one account per land. Because that way, whenever the land monarchy changed over, or the monarch and or PM, you could change the password. Like the IT team could change the password, give the new password to the new monarchy member, and basically it's a persistent storage and communication method for each land and the kingdom as well. That was the whole concept, because as we're doing it like right now, how many people are logged in as the kingdom?
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I mean, if I went on a wild hair for some reason and decided I want to delete every single file we have in the Google Drive, was it me? Was it Milan? Was it Thistledown? Was it Scorch? Was it, some other monarch who we never took the password, or we never changed the password, so they still have access? Like, there's no proper security there for our data security.
And there's no, even if there was, there's no official procedure to change it over.
Yeah. So like, if we did this type of deal, like I run, for my work, I run our Office 365 setup, and I can set it up that, this person has access to this part of the file share, this person has this access, this person has these permissions. It's very, without a centralized authorization system, we don't have a way to strongly control it.
I ask that you add some of that argument to Milan's argument on the ballot page. Possibly not how easy our security's, how lax our security is.
I really like
all the benefits we would get.
Really, what I should probably do is talk to the IT team and see if they have the ability to do this. It's not necessarily a BoD item. It's just a me item, really.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate your effort. It's like you're a Crown Knight or something.
The Google Workspace has similar. It's $0 per user for a nonprofit. It has, again, better than what we currently have as far as like security and access controls and things like that, and audit records.
Yeah, that's like I know that Google has a roughly comparable system, so I wasn't worried about looking into particular. I was more last month I was more bringing it up as like, this is something we should look into and think about, not even as a BoD, but just as a kingdom.
Agreed.
The Google Workspace might be good for us, considering that our records are currently in Google Drive.
That was the point. That was the point I was about to make. Essentially, everything's already in Google. I feel like if we had to choose between the two, unless Microsoft was a significantly better deal, we probably should go with Google. But it's the same requirement of being a 501c3.
Yeah, honestly, I only looked at 365 because that's what I know and do every day.
Yeah, and everybody has not everybody, of course, but most people have a 365 account. That should be something that we should prioritize, is what people know how to use already.
On the other hand, lots of people have a Gmail account.
That's true.
I actually don't know if I have a personal 365 account.
I have a work one.
A lot of people use Google Docs because they don't pay for Microsoft anymore.
I bought it once in 2015 before they moved to 365, so I don't have to update it.
Good plan.
OneDrive ass.
The other interesting thing I just found out looking at Google is apparently if we're a 501c3, we can run Google ads for free. And they up to $10,000 worth of advertising per month.
Holy fucking shit. We could advertise 4 lands at that rate. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm like looking through this and like, I mean, obviously I don't know the details. They've got their one webpage here, but that's what it's saying.
Even if that's like kind of true, still.
Well, what did I miss? Say that again, Sebastian?
Apparently, if you're a 501c3, and I'm looking at Google's page, you can run Google ads for free up to like some number.
Cool.
So.
And I was saying, holy shit, at that rate, we could advertise for every single land and it wouldn't cost the kingdom anything.
So, Scorch, what it sounds like is maybe once the once the all thing goes off and the next BoD is formed, this may be something you want to bring up because you and Thistledown will be the persistent members through there 100%.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very easy to create a 501c3. I did it in 2 months and had to spend $250.
All right, I have to leave, but
Thank you, James. We appreciate
must.
everything you do.
but
I'll definitely be pushing for 501c3 with this all thing.
I would be surprised if it didn't get supported, but obviously you never know.
The people that I know that are aggressively in favor of it are beloved figures in the kingdom. I have a feeling that their opinion would hold sway with at least some.
And also Andy.
Wow.
That's true. Andy also cares about it.
Well, luckily we have it as an all thing item, and we'll find out in what, a week, 2 weeks.
I think
the all thing?
9th of December or 9th of January is when it ends.
the only thing that I saw in past discussions about it were when people started shitting on the people that set up the 501c7 without understanding that 501c3s were different at the time and harder to get.
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't talk crap about our predecessors, that's for sure.
What's a pastime of yours, anyway?
Okay, that is it for what we expected to discuss during the West March BoD December itinerary. At this point in time, if there's anybody who would like to give thanks for anything that we have accomplished this year, any shout outs or anything of that nature, now is the time. I hope everybody brought a beverage they can toast out for the rest of the year. This has been a great group. I'm very thankful for everybody that is here. And Andy, thank you also for being here.
Yep.
Maybe also schedule next meeting.
We
don't
cannot
know if he's
schedule
going to
next
be on the
meeting.
meeting.
The next meeting will be scheduled by the elected officials.
Hey, Milan, I just wanted to thank you for all of the hard work that you've put into. You've made this year sane. You've had to juggle all of us inane, pedantic assholes, and you've done it very well with poise. And I couldn't have doing this without you. And I hope to be part of the people plotting on what to volunteer you for next.
Love you too, Etah, sir. You know what? When Etah joined this board, he was a lowly squire. Look at him now. Look at him now. I had the pleasure. Hey, Bear, defender of West March, thank you for being in all these meetings. Bear made all these meetings when he didn't have to, and he always put in his words, and he traveled all up and down the state in 2023. I can't think of somebody who put in more effort than him. I really appreciate everything you did, Bear. And shout out, say something. You always are muted. Aren't you going to Turkey or something like that?
I was about to head out. I put in the chat, but I got enough time to say, hey, happy to do it for the kingdom as well. So appreciate the shout out as well. Toast out to you as well. I'm actually not going to go to Turkey. I'm not going to go to Saudi Arabia. I'm not going to go to the Middle East. I had to turn down the poor offer that they gave me. So, but the good news is I'll be over probably pestering Crimson Wood when I survey in Sonoma and Napa County areas.
Nice. Well, have a great evening. I appreciate it very much. Dagger,
thank you guys. Take care.
Yeah, take care, my friend.
Bye,
Dagger, you've been in every one of these freaking meetings for no reason. But I appreciate the fact that you're always here. In fact, it only took me until about July to figure out your name was Frankie Demento. I'm proud of myself on that. But thank you for your insight and understanding of the Kapora, because I'll tell you, I did not know a lot about the Kapora in January. I'd read it years ago. So individuals like yourself at the time were very helpful. And I'd like to say to Rose and Scoot, mostly Rose, I was very sick from about March to June, and they helped me out in doing these meetings a lot when I couldn't talk, which was awesome. So thank you very much for that. We had an alternate who stepped forth when people weren't running for the board of directors, and they got the alternate position, and they were an actual lawyer and should have actually been on the board of directors the whole time because they had knowledge that was valuable. Victoria, I was lucky enough to meet you at Last Out, and I hope to see you there again. And thank you for everything that you've given us. I've sent you many messages on Facebook that said, hey, will you research this for me? And you did. And I appreciate that very much. Chicken, you served as a leadership position for Dragonvale, and you served on the board of directors while working and going to school. I don't know how you did it, and I certainly wouldn't want to do it, but thank you for being here as much as you can. I'm yapping. Somebody else step up. Say something.
Hey, Milan, I didn't notice if you were running for BoD again next year.
I think I am. I'm hoping I don't get elected, and I'm saying that verbally.
I just want you to know, if Squire Athena is the one to motion you to be the next president, that's my Squire. It's me doing that.
I hate you so much, Paul.
Stop being so good at everything you do, and maybe we will.
That's what the ladies say. What?
Hello.
Hey, buzzing. Here is the individuals that are running for the board of directors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tragically, that means that a couple people aren't going to make it. 6 people are what we take, with one being an alternate. But hopefully we can maybe encourage one of those people running that don't get elected to be the scribe, and have them sit on the meetings as well. Hopefully we can find a way to get everybody involved, and whoever runs the next board of directors, I hope they give everybody a voice, because everybody deserves a voice. Okay. Anything else? We're at an hour. Shortest BoD meeting of the year.
I move to close the meeting.
On the condition that I get to say a thing first.
Yes.
Thank you, all of you, for all of the thought and the effort that you have put in this election cycle. I've only been here for a couple meetings in an official capacity, but this is a thankless service, but it is a service to the kingdom, and I thank you for it, especially Milan, who does everything to be the most hype man ever. And you're always there to not just get the job done, but get it done well, and encourage everyone around you to be their best selves and to put everything they can into serving this kingdom and this game. And thank you all, and thank you, Milan, especially.
I really don't do anything, guys. I just kind of organize, and you guys do all the work. Sebastian has done more work in 2 months than I did the entire year. And Talon has stepped up and done a ton of work too. All I do is go, yeah, that sounds good, or that sounds stupid. That's all I do.
Do you know how much money fucking project managers make? Because that's kind of a thing that's needed. I'm just throwing that out there.
Is Milan the Ted Lasso of the BoD? That's a question.
Well, there we go. Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody here. Does anybody else have any other statements? Does anybody else would like to say anything?
Great having you guys.
Thank you, Victoria. That is a wonderful comment.
I will say, technically, Milan, for like the next 4 weeks, we can't give you any work, because even if you are reelected, it won't be official until next January. So like, this is definitely a vacation then, Maria.
We could give him work. He would just come on as a guest.
I would just say, hey, Milan, could you do me a favor, buddy? And he'll be like, sure, Scorch, what do you need?
That's true. Actually, the Monarch could request a special BoD session. We don't have to hold one every month. We could technically hold another one 2 days from now if the Monarch requested it.
That sounds like work.
I mean, it could happen. I'm not saying it
Okay.
should happen.
Oh no, for sure.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna say we close this meeting if everybody is all right with it.
Second.
All right. Sean, are you here?
Sean, Milan asked if you were here.
I am here.
Can you say
Hi, buddy.
Can you say close this meeting for us?
Close this me for us.
That's the best.
Seconded.
There's the second. Thank you, Heir Apparent.